Hi everyone, it's Leona with Leona's Designs. I am here with another slow stitch with Kathryn, and this is week 47. We are going to be doing Wrinkle Embroidery, and maybe some of you have heard of it. I never have, but basically what it is you wrinkle up your cloth. I have a piece of cotton. Kathryn used linen, and you wrinkle it up, and hopefully it's a cloth that will create some wrinkles. And then whatever wrinkles you get after you open it back up is what you will stitch. So I'm opening this back up. I'm not going to stitch this whole block of fabric. I'm going to use a hoop, and then I'm going to try to stitch those wrinkles that I see. There's a few. And then we'll see what we get. We'll either get a random background, or we might get some kind of a piece that shows an image. It's just the fun of it. If you've ever taken a pencil and just drawn lines on a paper and then fill them in to try to create an image, it's kind of that way. So it's kind of, I guess, a mindful exercise, mindful stitching. So I'm going to measure here for my hoop, because that's the only part I want for my journal. And I'm going to take this pen and see if I can make some lines here on these wrinkles so that we can stitch on them. And this cloth really shows up a lot of lines. I'm not sure if we're going to get any image out of this, but this crease line here is quite extensive. Looks to me like there's one here. And this continues. So right now it's not really showing me any image other than perhaps some mountain peaks, or valleys, or maybe just a background. But we'll see how it looks after we stitch it. Some people on the Facebook group posted theirs, and they said it reminded them of a map. And others saw images. And there's a lot of lines to stitch. So I'm going to put my hoop on and we'll get ready to start stitching. Well, I turned the image this way because this part here kind of reminds me of a mountain peak, mountain range. Maybe this is all mountains, and down here is fields, grass. Who knows? I didn't see anything else. No matter how I turned it, I didn't really see any other images. So I think I'll keep it this way and just start stitching on the lines, the different outlines. I'm going to start with black. have this black cotton thread, and probably just do some running stitches. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to fill it in with stitching, or I might fill it in with couching, or even material. I don't know. Kathryn filled hers in with stitching, different stitches. Others did the same. I don't think anybody used pieces of material to fill it in, but it's just something I'm thinking of, just to create something a little different. I don't think there's any rules, so just adding something to fill it in besides stitching excuse me, is an option for me. So first of all, I'm just going to start out doing a running stitch, and I put it in this hoop because I used a hoop last week and I really enjoyed stitching that way. So I thought I'd try it again this week. Oop, I got some threads in there I don't want. I'm going to pull this a little farther away. I will link Kathryn's video below, as always, if you want to go watch hers and see how she created her image. Her project. And the different things she discussed. She did have a quote from a French poet regarding wrinkles. And offhand, I don't remember what it was, but I will look that up and put it in the description box below. I guess it's just a form of mindful stitching. Just another way to randomly stitch and not really have a purpose. Just to stitch for enjoyment. So there's that. I need to add one more stitch here, but my hoop's kind of in the way. And we got it. Is that all? It's kind of big, but it does look like a big bird flying. So I'm going to end off instead of wasting thread, and then I'm going to come back down and start there in what I call my mountain range. And I think I'm just going to keep doing running stitches. Or back stitches. Just on these lines. and then I will be back to show you after I've got them all done. Well, I stitched all the lines that I could see. There's still a few wrinkles, of course, but this is the main wrinkled part. I stitched mostly with back stitch and straight stitch. And now I'm kind of seeing that this could be a bird and mountains, maybe a river and some fields. So since it is a wrinkle embroidery project, I probably should embroider, not just try to put material in, even though I could put some material and embroider on that. But I think what I'm going to do is just do a few different stitches, like purple mountains, a blue river, and maybe some green and brown fields with different embroidery stitches. And I have this purple here that I'm probably just going to do some seed stitches or running stitches in these mountains here. Maybe I might even put a few white stitches at the top. So what I'm thinking is these are all mountains, and then maybe that's the river. So it'll take me a while, but I'll probably fill it in with just some seed stitching or running stitches. I'm gonna just do a few running stitches on this one, see how it looks. And who knows, I might add a little bit of material in some places. But it's just, I guess it's more of a stitch practice than anything else, so it's not really meant to create any art. It's just an exercise for mindfulness stitching and practicing stitches, I guess you could say. That's what I'm getting out of it anyway. So I'm just gonna go around and stitch all over this piece, and I'll be back to explain to you what I did. Well, I'm calling it finished. I did a lot of stitching, mainly running stitch, back stitch, straight stitch, seed stitch, French knots, and some cross stitch. So it doesn't really have an image of itself other than the fact that in my mind I was thinking that these were purple mountains with a blue river and different fields of grain and cherry trees and sunflowers and grass and maybe some alfalfa. So in my mind, it reminded me of America, where I live, and that song, America the Beautiful, with purple mountain majesties, fruited plains. So I still think this looks like a bird. But it ended up looking very nice, and I did have a chance to practice a lot of stitching. So I'm happy for this exercise, and looking forward to next week, to week 48. So thank you for watching. I hope you were inspired in some way to maybe try this, and who knows what you might end up with. Some of the people on the Facebook page ended up with images. One lady had a bouquet of flowers. Kathryn herself, I believe, ended up with a dove, which I would have loved to have a dove in my wrinkles, but this is what my wrinkles turned out to be. So I'm happy with them, and I'm going to look forward to doing next week's video, and hope to see you then. Have a great day.